The CONCACAF League of Nations, Diego Costa is not happy, and Carlo Ancelotti shares a passionate kiss with Franck Ribéry. Welcome to the Goalmouth Podcast, ladies and gents, your bite-sized daily dose of soccer goodness from the folks behind Howler Magazine, Dirty Tackle, and the Total Soccer Show. The noises you are hearing in your head right now are the vocal stylings of Ryan Bailey. In for Brooks Peck today, it's Monday, April 10th. It's the birthday of three of the most important people in my life: Roberto Carlos, Steven Seagal, and Mandy Moore. What? This Is Us is great, and I like massive thighs and ponytailed action heroes too. Anyway, let's start off with some big domestic soccer news that developed over the weekend. CONCACAF is proposing a League of Nations competition for national teams similar to that being adopted by UEFA. At the CONCACAF Congress in Aruba over the weekend, representatives from 41 federations discussed how awesome they were for choosing to hold their Congress in Aruba. Then they had a break for pina coladas and a cannonball competition at the pool. And then they talked about a League of Nations that would effectively formalise friendlies into a tournament format, making them less friendly, but still ultimately pretty useless. The move comes as it was recognised that the UEFA League of Nations gives CONCACAF sides fewer opportunities for friendlies with European sides, and it means that CONCACAF could make some more money, of course. It sounds good in principle, but I'm not convinced it's good news for the USA. Instead of high-profile friendlies against European or South American big boys, the USMNT will now be confined to League of Nations friendlies against the likes of Guatemala, Curacao, or Canada. Oh, and by the way, at 2 p.m. Eastern on Monday, CONCACAF will be holding a press conference in New York on behalf of Canada, the USA, and Mexico. Either they're formally announcing the 2026 World Cup bid, or they're going to build a wall on both borders now. Who knows? Yanks abroad update now. Hertha Berlin are flying high in the Bundesliga, closing the gap with Borussia Dortmund to just 7 points over the weekend with a 2-0 win over cruddy Bavarian side Augsburg. The opener was a poached header from John Brooks, his 6th Bundesliga career goal. Elsewhere in Germany, Hamburg are pulling away from their annual relegation scrap thanks to a 2-1 win over high-flying Hoffenheim over the weekend. Aaron Hunt's winning goal came courtesy of a lovely Bobby Wood assist. And in the final installment of the Americans in Germany trilogy update, Christian Pulisic was part of the Dortmund team that were demolished by Bayern in Saturday's Klassiker. I actually had money on Dortmund getting a result on that one. How wrong I was. Over to the Premier League now. Chelsea is still going to win the league, but Diego Costa isn't very happy with life in London. He's quoted in the Metro as saying, "I'm happy at Chelsea. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm happy with my life in London." Now, the fact that Chelsea is inescapably located in London could suggest that the Brazilian-born striker isn't in a good place right now. But what could Costa possibly hate about the English capital? The terrible weather? The congestion charge? £5 pints? Hipsters? Goal droughts on the field that he arbitrarily blames on his surroundings? Who knows? And maybe this is going to spark rumours of an exit to La Liga, but as the old saying goes, a man who is tired of London is tired of elbowing his opponents. English Championship update now. Reading are looking good for a playoff place this season. Even if they were beaten 7-1 by Norwich at the weekend, they were 5-0 down after just 35 minutes in that one. But a return to the Premier League might be denied the Royals due to a potential change in ownership. According to The Telegraph, a proposed takeover of the club by a brother and sister pair of Chinese investors was provisionally cleared by the English Football League last week. But those same investors were denied the chance to buy Hull last season because they failed the Premier League's fit and proper persons test. You know, the test that's supposed to keep unscrupulous businessmen or women from buying Premier League clubs, but still lets Roman Abramovich have one anyway. But if Reading do get taken over by the Chinese pair Dai Yong and sister Dai Jui, they're in danger of having their ascension to the Premier League blocked if they secure promotion. Thus far, Reading have declined to comment on whether they or the consortium would fight any attempt to deny them promotion. And finally, Carlo Ancelotti has cracked the code on how to keep the emotions of his superstar players in check. He's kissing them. When Franck Ribéry was subbed off in the 74th minute of the aforementioned Klassiker on Saturday, he was not a happy bunny. Clearly incensed and demanding an explanation from his manager, the Frenchman was met with a hug and a kiss. Both men subsequently smiled, and the situation was diffused. Afterwards, Ribéry said, "The kiss was nice. It was just natural, something positive. It was a good kiss with a lot of emotion." Presumably, he was talking about the same kiss we all saw on the sidelines. However, the kiss didn't go down too well in all quarters. It made Arjen Robben turn green. He said, "I'm a bit jealous, but I might get a kiss as well at some point." Well, Arjen, if you continue to keep scoring the exact same brilliant goal that you've been scoring your entire career, as you did on Saturday, that kiss will come one day. Patience, dear boy. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. You can read more about all these stories in the Goalmouth newsletter. Link is in the show notes. Please like, subscribe, and write us an iTunes review. We love all that stuff. Daryl Grove will be entertaining you tomorrow. Your usual Monday host, Brooks Peck, is going to be here on Friday. I leave you with today's Goalmouth top tip. If you kiss your ribbery in front of your Robin, you're asking for trouble. Love to your mothers. See you next time.